everyone, it's Annie and I'm back with a book haul. So I have some exciting books in a pile next to me, all right. I want to start with the physical arcs that I have been given or that I have won in giveaways. So let me start with those. Now, not all of these arcs will be new, technically. Some of them will already have been released, but this one especially I am very, very excited for. It is The Splinter in the Sky by Kemi Ashingiwa, and I am so excited by this because I was sent this by the author. We're friends on Twitter, and Kemi has just been so instrumental in helping me get my book published and also just a delightful person, and I am so excited for this book. Like, the concept of this book makes me wish that I had written it, okay? It's exactly the kind of book that I want. So I am ecstatic to have been given an arc of this. Thank you so much, Kemi. So, it is a diverse, exciting debut space opera about a young tea expert who is taken as a political prisoner and recruited to spy on government officials. A role that may empower her to win back her nation's independence. Perfect for fans of N.K. Jemisin and Nnedi Okorafor, which you know that I love both of those authors. So, this is very exciting. So, I just cannot wait to read this, and this comes out on July 11th of this year, so look out for my review before then. Okay, this arc I actually won in a Goodreads First Reads giveaway, which is rare. It's a nonfiction memoir. It's A Stone is Most Precious Where It Belongs. And this is something that I kind of just entered the giveaway on a whim because it looked really, really interesting, and I was very surprised that I won. It was published already in February, so if you're interested in this at all, definitely go pick it up. It is about an extraordinary woman who gave up everything to help her people. So in February 2018, 24 members of the author's family disappeared overnight. Her crime, and that of her family, was her award-winning investigation on the plight of her people, the Uyghurs, whose very existence is under threat by the Chinese government. The author is an Uyghur journalist, and obviously we have heard a lot about this in recent years, that the Chinese government is really, really oppressive and harmful against these people. And I just felt like this was a really important book to read, and I'm really glad that I won this, so look forward to when I read it. We'll see when that is. Okay, this book has also come out. It is The Witch and the Vampire. It came out in March, and this is a Sapphic paranormal retelling of Rapunzel. Looks interesting. I was gifted this by a friend. So I don't know where my friend got this, but I was gifted this by a friend. So it's Sapphic, so she knew I would like it. So I was like, okay. Ava and Kay used to be best friends, but vampires broke into their realm, killed Kay's mother, and turned Ava into a vampire. Kay, now at the end of her training as a flame witch, is ready to fulfill her duty to kill any vampires, including Ava. Okay, so best friends to enemies to lovers, that is definitely my jam. This is YA. I don't think this is normally what I would have picked up, but since I got a free copy of it, why not? I'll give it a read. Okay, and as for the last arc, the cover isn't the pretty version, but it's She is a Haunting, which already came out. This is by Trung Tan Tran, which I am assuming that I pronounced that wrong. I'm really sorry, but this is their picture. And it was out on February 28th of 2023, so I really, really want to read this. I'm pretty sure I put this in my video of my most anticipated releases for the beginning of this year. I still haven't gotten to it, but I will soon, I promise, okay? So this is a YA. It is compared to Mexican Gothic, and it is a ghost story about a Vietnamese-American girl named Jade who would give anything to feel like she belongs somewhere, and the deadly haunted house that is desperate to consume her family, the girl she loves, and Jade herself. So yes, Sapphic horror, haunted house vibes, very, very interesting stuff. I gave a longer description in my anticipated reads video, so definitely check that out if you're interested, but I really want to read this. I'm a little bit sad that this has an ugly cover, but it was also free, so I'm happy. Okay, so a little bit of crossover now. We have the ARCs, and now we have books that I got for either free from little free libraries or from my library's used bookshop for like $1. But this is also an ARC. It's just a very old ARC because this book was released in 2022. So someone donated this to the library. It's My Dearest Darkest, which is Sapphic. So it follows Finch, who is the newest transfer student to an ultra-competitive academy, but she's not what she seems. Before school started, she and her parents were in an accident that should have left her dead. But something monstrous and ancient wouldn't let her die. She doesn't know why she woke up after her heart stopped, but ever since she's felt a constant pull to the town of Rainwater. Okay. Selena rules the academy. She's careful not to let anyone get too close to her until she meets Finch. The two girls are instantly drawn to each other. Okay. And one night, they and their friends accidentally summon a creature of immense power in the depths of the school. It promises to grant every desire the girls have kept locked away in their hearts, but for a terrible price. Interesting. I've never actually read the synopsis of this book. I just picked it up because I knew it was Sapphic, so yeah, score. All right, so quickly, this is a little free library find. It is the Klingon Dictionary by Mark Okrand. If you guys know, I studied linguistics. I love constructed languages for like sci-fi aliens and stuff like that, and I'm also a huge Star Trek nerd, so I saw this and I had to pick it up. I mean, this is awesome. Not that I'm ever going to learn Klingon. I mean, hey, wait, never say never. But I'm just really excited by this. This is a really, really cool find, and it is vintage. Okay, so that's exciting to me, at least. It was published in 1985. Yeah, so vintage Star Trek book. There you go. Okay, and then the last book I got from a little library slash bookstore that was very cheap is Artemis by Andy Weir. So I've read The Martian and I've read Project Hail Mary. I loved those both, gave them both 5 stars. They were amazing. I know that Artemis is kind of the book that nobody likes. Nobody likes this book. It has quite a low rating on Goodreads, especially compared to his other 2 books that everyone loves. So, but it was like basically free, so I picked it up. I'm like, you know what? I love the other 2, so I'll give this a shot. It's a hardback copy, so why not? It is about Jasmine Bashara. Okay, and I that's the problem that I've heard, is that he's not good at writing female characters, like, and I guess he's not. So we'll see. I don't really know the plot, and honestly, I don't feel like reading it. So, but it's a sci-fi, of course. Okay, so now we're getting into books that I paid full price for. So let's see. First, we have Legends and Lattes, which I've read and loved. I gave this 5 stars. It is a sapphic cozy fantasy about this orc who starts a coffee shop and kind of gives gives up her life of fighting and war to become like this cozy barista. And I loved it. It was awesome. I love it. I cannot wait for the sequel of this. And yeah, it was an amazing book, so I knew I had to own it. Okay, next, I got Heartstopper Volume 1. Okay, I am going to finally read this. I've never read it, never watched the show. I know that that's like a bookish crime. It's a graphic novel, if you haven't heard of it. It's like incredibly popular, so I don't know how you couldn't have heard of it. But when I picked it up at Barnes & Noble, I got this free pin, which I actually didn't even know it was going to come with. But the cashier was like, wait, let me see if I have any more of these pins. And I was like, okay. So I got this really, really cute Nick and Charlie pin, and I'm really happy about it. So I'm thinking I might do a vlog where I read the whole series. So let me know if you're interested in seeing me do that, okay? But I definitely want to read this sometime soon. Okay, next is the Oleander Sword, which I actually had gotten an e-arc on NetGalley, and I loved it so much that I just had to buy the copy after I read it. I love this book. It was even better than the first one, which is The Jasmine Throne. It's a sequel to the Indian-inspired Sapphic fantasy. And since it's a sequel, I won't say any more than that, but the world building in this book is just unmatched. It's so, so good. And the central Sapphic relationship is really, really painful, but also so good. There's a reason why it's so, so beloved in the Sapphic book community, so if you haven't read the series yet, please, please pick it up. I can't wait for the third one. Definitely going to pre-order it. And another Sapphic fantasy sequel is The Faithless by C.L. Clarke, which I did pre-order. I have not read it yet, and I am so, so excited to, because I loved The Unbroken so much, and this is the sequel to it. It is just such an amazing political fantasy, and I loved every second of it. I need more right now, so I'm really, really excited that this book is also really thick. There's going to be a lot of good Sapphic content in here, I can tell, so I'm really, really excited. I mean, look at how powerful Luca looks on this cover. I love it. Okay, next book. I'm very excited. I got a signed edition of The Dowry of Blood. Okay, and I think I'm in the minority in that I like this cover better. Look at this. Hello. I actually like this cover better than the self-published version. Not that I disliked the self-published version, but I really like this cover. And I love A Dowry of Blood. This was one of my favorite books that I read last year. So I needed to own a copy of it. And I was so ecstatic to find a signed version in my local Barnes & Noble. So I had to pick it up. If you don't know, it's a retelling of Dracula from the perspective of his wives, specifically his first wife, Constanza. And it is delightfully queer and just gothic and so amazing. It's so good. It's delicious. I love it. I almost forgot to show you guys this beauty of a book. Of course, A Day of Fallen Night. I pre-ordered it. I got the signed special Barnes & Noble version. I already read this book and it was spectacular. In my opinion, even better than Priory, okay? So, it's just amazing. I mean, Priory is like the Sapphic Game of Thrones, if Game of Thrones was actually good. And there's dragons, there's politics, there's incredible world building, incredible characters. My only problem with Priory is that there were too many points of views and they got a little bit muddled for me personally. This book has 4 points of views, but it did not get confusing at all. I loved every second of it. I actually listened to it, but I bought this because it looks really pretty next to Priory on my shelf. Okay, and just get a load of this cover. I mean, what? And here's the signature. It's very hard to hold this book with one hand like this, but I'm very, very happy that I have this copy with the signature, and I cannot wait until the third installment of this series. I am just ecstatic that this is a series. You guys have no idea. And the last book of this haul is Slewfoot by Brom, because first of all, I needed this cover in my life. I want this girl tattooed on me. I really do. I am in love with this illustration. Whoever illustrated it, you're amazing. But speaking of illustrations, the book also has illustrations like dispersed through it, and that's why I really wanted to own the hard copy of it. Like, look at this. It's awesome. It's so cool. And like these demons, like, hello? Okay. Kind of freaky, but yes, and look at the back too. We have Slewfoot. I love this book. It is a neo-Puritan, or no, this isn't actually neo-Puritan, it's just Puritan world in which this girl, obviously there's a lot of sexism in her culture that she's growing up in the 1600s in Connecticut, in a colony, and she gets revenge, let's just say that, by making a deal with this demon called Slewfoot. And it is one of the best books that I read last year. I was on a really big horror kick when I read it, and I love it so, so much. like I said, I want the cover tattooed on me, so I really love this book. It's a great one. If you're looking for a really, really good feminist horror, look no further. Alright, so that's it for this book haul. Thank you so much for watching, and look out for more bookish videos coming soon. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel for more bookish videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye!